Hi everyone, my name is Jade, and as you can tell by the title of today's video and this little beauty here, this is a very exciting video and one that I have wanted to make for a really long time. So I would like to introduce you all. Buddy cannot stand the attention not being on him for 1 second. I would like to introduce you all to the newest member of our family, Lilly P, Lily Petal. That's right, that's you. Hello Angel. So she has been with us now for quite a while, since May, so yeah, almost 6 months, and she is just the most perfect addition to our family. So like we did when we adopted Buddy last year, I wanted to make a video to, oh Bud, as you can tell he's getting on very well, but I wanted to make a video to introduce you to Lily, tell you a bit about her rescue story, about her and the organisation that we rescued her from. So yeah, let's get into it. Buddy clearly has other plans. He's trying to entice everyone to play with him. He really is always the centre of attention, so he hates when anything is not about him. So I haven't filmed a sit-down video at home in a really long time. Clearly the dogs are all very confused and wanting to be a part of everything, so I think this is going to be hard. So Lily is estimated to be around 7 years old. She is a toy poodle and she is a rescue from the meat trade, and she was rescued by Nana's Haven. So the way that we kind of came across her was very random, and I feel like it was meant to be. So if you've watched my channel before or follow my Instagram, you'll know that we adopted Buddy, this little guy back here, in in August last year. And we definitely weren't looking to adopt another dog, especially not so soon after getting Buddy. But I was just going through Instagram one day and I follow lots of rescues and people with rescue dogs. And somebody shared a post about this rescue that helps dogs from the meat trade. And so I clicked on their page and then I saw Lily. At the time her name was Petal, and she was just this skinny little dog with barely any fur, and she just had the most soulful eyes, and her post was just saying, I can't believe I haven't found my forever home yet, and I just fell in love immediately. I don't know how to explain it. My mum has experienced this when I used to send her rescue dog like adverts all the time when we had just Poppy and Panda when I was at home, and she'd always say, no Jade, no, and then one day I sent her Teddy's picture and she literally called me and was like, yeah, I'm getting this dog, we're gonna adopt him. So I feel like maybe other people who have like adopted like know that feeling where you just see your dog and you're like, that's my dog, they're meant to be with me. Matt and I had some really long chats because we weren't planning to adopt another dog. Buddy was still very much in his puppy stage. If you haven't watched our other video, we adopted Buddy at 4.5 months old. He was a Romanian street dog rescue, and yeah, he was still very much in his cheeky puppy stage. I mean, he still is now, but it was really hard work. But I just had this strong feeling. So we reached out to the rescue and we initially offered to foster Lily, but to cover her flight costs. So when you're adopting from abroad, it's obviously a lot more complicated. There's travel costs to get them to the UK, and especially at the moment with everything that's been going on the last 2 years, it has been really difficult for rescues to get their dogs from abroad into the UK, particularly dogs that need to take flights rather than that can be kind of driven by road transport if they're coming from Europe, like for Buddy's rescue. So that was the initial plan. We were going to cover her costs to get here and then foster her. But as the months went on, we were trying to find her flights and things just kept getting cancelled or kept going wrong, and it was really stressful and upsetting, and I just grew more and more attached to her. And you know, before she even arrived here, we'd already decided she wasn't going anywhere. She was going to be our baby forever. I mean, I knew that the second that we saw her picture, but I think Matt just needed a minute to come around. And the most frustrating thing now is that I'm the one that desperately wanted Lily, felt this connection to her, and she freaking loves Matt. She follows him everywhere and she just worships him. Anyway, timeline wise, we found her in November, and that's when we kind of committed to her. And She didn't end up arriving until May. Some people probably think I'm just very strange, but there's a lot of things to do with Lily and her rescue that just kind of make me feel like she was meant to be with us. And also like Poppy, our dog who we lost last year, who was my little soul dog, sent her to me. So one of the really weird things that we have found out kind of since then is that she was rescued around the time that we lost Poppy last year. And another crazy thing is that she arrived a year to the day exactly that we said goodbye to Poppy. And I just think that's such a crazy coincidence. We had no choice over the flight date. We'd been trying to get flights for her since November, and this was the only way that we could fly her here, and she arrived a year to the day. Yeah, which just felt really, really, I don't know, like it was meant to be. Going into it a bit more, her name's Petal, and Poppy, you know, a petal is part of a poppy flower. I don't know, maybe I'm just looking for links, but I just have this feeling that she was meant to be with us, and ever since she's been here, she has just been the most perfect dog that we ever could have dreamed of. Like, when you're adopting from abroad, and really all the time, but especially when you haven't met the dog before you adopt them, you really need to be 100% committed and open to making it work, no matter what, because how a dog behaves in a shelter environment is definitely not necessarily indicative of how they will be in a home. And it's just really hard to give them a really thorough, accurate assessment. So you need to be willing to make it work no matter what. And we 100% were. We were thinking she can't be harder work than our naughty little buddy guy back there. So we had no expectations on her. She's 7 years old. She had been through so much. But from the second she arrived, she has just been perfect, and she's just fitted in with us and the other dogs so well, which is just honestly a dream come true. Because our main concern, like when we were adopting Buddy, was making sure that Kitty would be happy, and it's been a bit of an adjustment. We've worked really hard on training for both of them, but particularly Buddy. And now Kitty and Buddy are really good friends. All of that to say, our main concern is how Lily would fit in with the other dogs. But she has just been an absolute perfect angel. Kitty, who sometimes can be a bit nervous around other dogs, is just obsessed with Lily. She just worships her so much. She cleans her eyes and ears every single day. Kitty's not really a dog, she's a person, like people dog, but she loves to cuddle with Lily. Buddy also loves Lily. Buddy really respects her, which is nice, where he'll really try and play with Kitty, and some of my mum's dogs. With Lily, he'll kind of respect her boundaries. A lot more than he respects anyone else's. Still not perfect, but we have just been so incredibly pleasantly surprised and lucky overall, and it's just like she's always been here. So again, when you are adopting dogs from situations like the meat trade or with Buddy, who was a street dog, you don't always know their past and what they've been through and what might trigger them. So that can be really hard, and you just have to be super mindful of taking things really slowly and just letting them learn to kind of be a dog in their own time. So Lily, she was rescued at about 6 or 7 years old, and she was found in a really horrible condition. She was in one of the really overcrowded shelters, where they've often rescued dogs from the meat trade, bring them to these shelters, but then unfortunately don't have the resources and the donations to care for them. So Nana's Haven, who is Lily's rescue, pulled her from this shelter. She had really bad skin disease. She was in like the worst condition. They had to fully shave her down and treat her skin every day. So the first video that I saw of Lily was her in this kind of overcrowded shelter, and she just looked like a mop. She was completely matted, and she was just walking up and down the side of the cage. And when I just think about that video now and I look at her, like now she's cuddled up on my lap, and it's just crazy that she's endured that, and she's still so loving and sweet, and she just wants to sleep and cuddle up. And you know, we just don't deserve dogs. They're so perfect, aren't you? So Lily's gone back there to sleep with Kitty, and they always like to sleep bum to bum, which is super cute. They're always kind of touching, which is so lovely. I think you find that quite a lot with dogs who've been rescued from situations like the meat trade or street dogs. They feel really comfortable around other dogs often because that's been their only source of comfort and friendship, and they're often way more confident with other dogs than they are with humans. I think it's the same often for puppy farm rescues as well in the UK. So getting back to Lily's rescue, so her rescue, Nana's Haven, saw the videos of her in this overcrowded shelter, and they pulled her from the shelter and got her into the vets where she had to have treatment for like really bad skin disease. She had to be shaved fully and have kind of like daily skin treatment. I've seen videos of her at that time, and it's just really heartbreaking that she's been through that. We don't know what happened to her before she ended up there. They estimate that she's about 7 years old, so she obviously had quite like a long life before that. Looking at her kind of underside, it does look like she may have had babies at some point. So I don't know if she was used for breeding, but whatever it is, this dog is just incredibly brave. It hasn't affected her temperament in any negative way at all. She has met kids, babies, Matt's 96-year-old grandma. She is just the most incredible, perfect dog. It makes me really emotional because I know people are often worried about rescue dogs. They'll say, oh, I couldn't get a rescue dog because I have kids, or, you know, I'm not sure, I want a dog who will, you know, I can have since a puppy and make sure their personality will be a certain way. And trust me, we've had Buddy since he was a puppy. He was a rescue, so a bit of an older puppy, but still pretty young, and he is absolutely nuts. Maybe that is on us, I don't know, but I think a lot of it is his personality. We've also had Kitty since a puppy. She was one of my family dogs, and she is a perfect angel, but she does have some issues. She has a bit of anxiety when we're on walks and gets kind of nervous. So I just think there's absolutely no guarantee that because you've had a dog since a puppy, they're going to turn out a certain way. Just like with humans, I think some of it is obviously your environment and how you're brought up. Some of it is just kind of the kind of person or dog that you are. So in the time that we have had Lily, she's definitely come out of herself so much. On the first day that she came home, she kind of like didn't want you to touch her, and she didn't really want to be close to you very much. So she was definitely decompressing and just sleeping a lot, and just, you know, it must have been very overwhelming. She had been in vets or boarding kennels for about a year at that point, so to be in a home environment was just very strange and overwhelming for her. So when Lily first got home, we had just her here with us for the first night because we didn't want her to feel overwhelmed with the other dogs. We definitely learnt our lesson from introducing Buddy to too much all at once. Then the next day we introduced her to Kitty, who was just obsessed with her. It was just the sweetest thing. She was just so gentle and just so curious about Lily, and I've never seen Kitty be like that with another dog, so it made it even more special. And then Buddy the following day, and he did try to get her to play a bit, but he was also, for Buddy, relatively calm and respectful, which was really nice. We also booked a vet trip for her that week just to check her over after her flight, but apart from that we tried to keep things super minimal and just go at her pace. However, after our vet trip she just tried to like take us on a walk, so she told us she was ready and we found out that she loved it. But even though she seemed to love walks, for the first kind of week or so she would cower if we tried to put her harness on, and now she's like jumping up begging to have it on because she just knows it means something good. She also was super timid at first and didn't want us to cuddle her really, and now she lays and just like under my arm every night cuddled up, and that's how she falls asleep, and we wake up like that every morning, which is also how Poppy used to lay with me. So that's just super special. It means everything to me. She's also, as you can see, cuddled up with the other dogs and likes to cuddle up with us. She just come on leaps and bounds in such a short space of time, and if Buddy's any indication to go by, they just tend to become more of themselves, become more comfortable with you and more loving over time. So I cannot wait to see how she is a year on. So if you have any questions about Lily, our rescue experience, just adopting from abroad or adopting in general, please do leave them in the comments. I did a little Q&A on Instagram, and I'm planning to do a Q&A video at some point. I will also leave Buddy's welcome home adoption videos down in the description. I did a Q&A and I did like just this kind of video telling you his story and talking about Buddy, and I will leave Buddy's rescue, which is a Michi dog rescue, in the description as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Princess Lily, and we will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Say bye.